Oh my god, Eclipse, I can't believe you clickbaited me.
Will you ever play Rogue Lineage? I want to see you suffer Eclipse. No, I will never play Rogue Lineage, so, tough luck. I'm sure this sounds absolutely shocking to you, but it's not really a lot of fun to have hundreds, if not thousands of people coming to you and complaining to you about takes that you had about a game. It's one of those things that you can't possibly really understand until it's happened, and I've had it happen to me so many times at this point that I'm just sort of tired of it. And the unfortunate or fortunate reality is that these feelings oftentimes turn me off from playing games that are highly requested. And of course, the most recent example is Rogueblox, where that's another game where I just actively don't want to play it because I know the community is going to be a pain in my ass, and I already know what to expect from the game. I mean, come on, it's a spiritual successor to Rogue Lineage, which I mentioned in this exact video that I will never play. And if you have half a brain cell, you know exactly why I'll never play it. So, I don't want to play this.
Battlefield has had some great moments in the past and some extremely successful games, and with them, a relatively supportive community too, though there have been some dark times that have tested everyone. One moment in particular stands above all the rest, where Battlefield debatably failed in many ways. A lot of Battlefield players say the last good Battlefield game was Battlefield 4. Some say, nah, you're wrong, it was Battlefield 1, but I, in my infinite cultured wisdom, say no, the best Battlefield game was Battlefield 5. I'm just kidding. Although Battlefield 5 in its current state is actually a pretty good game, it by far had the worst release of any Battlefield game in the series, and it all started with the Battlefield 5 official reveal trailer. It was and still is by far the most disliked video in the entire Battlefield channel, with almost 600,000 dislikes, and is currently one of the most disliked videos in gaming. The most disliked video being the official Call of Duty Infinite Warfare reveal trailer at 3.9 million dislikes. So what is the deal with this Battlefield 5 trailer specifically? Well, according to the internet, it's the span of 9 seconds at the 2-minute mark of the trailer.
Fuck it. Hello, old friend.
To some, this clip was a social justice warrior political statement, and to others, it was an inaccurate, disrespectful representation of World War II, and to many, it was just, 9 seconds of an official Battlefield reveal trailer. But the interpretations of this trailer weren't the moment that Battlefield failed. The trailer was just the spark. The moment that Battlefield failed was 4 days later, when one of the Battlefield 5 design directors replied to the community with this: "I knew this was going to be a fight when I pushed for female soldiers in Battlefield. I have a daughter, and I don't want to ever have to answer her question of why can't I make a character that looks like me with because you're a girl. I fundamentally feel to my core this is the right way, and I will find myself on the right side of history. And I think many people will play the game despite their reservations, and maybe learn something about either history or themselves. That is part of the making games art." Now, this response is what created the majority of the outrage in the community, fueling the fire for the dislikes on the video. Responses to the design director were many, but the gist of it was this: people were not actually upset about there being women in Battlefield 5. Well, of course, I'm sure there were some, but no, they were upset because the trailer seemed to be about that woman specifically. She was the center of attention. She had to be quirky and unique to stand out, depicted as a hero. In fact, women did fight in World War II, and there was plenty of sacrifice, which people acknowledged right away. They argued, if you're going to market Battlefield 5 with historical accuracy and immersion about the lesser-known battles of the war, then why would your reveal trailer be about this fictional, quirky-voiced Mad Max character with a prosthetic arm and a barbed wire cricket bat, if not to just draw attention to her by making a political statement? There were plenty of notable female fighters in World War II that Battlefield 5 could have taken the stories of and implemented into the game. Examples range from the female fighter pilots like the Night Witches to snipers like Natalia Kovshova or Ludmila Pavlichenko, of who is credited as history's deadliest female sniper with over 300 kills. Conversely, DICE decided to put fiction into the untold history they were striving for in Battlefield 5, and the best example of this was with the Nordlys war story. You played as a young Norwegian woman named Solveig, who, along with her mom, disabled and sabotaged German heavy water shipments in Norway. The true story, though, was called Operation Gunnerside, where a group of 5 Norwegian commandos sabotaged the entire supply of German heavy water production that was being used for nuclear energy and weapons research. They accomplished the mission without firing a single shot, blew the charges on the heavy water chambers, and then skied over 300 kilometers to safety. Some Norwegian people actually felt disrespected by the fake story being told in the game, with the true story only being mentioned by a few lines of text towards the end. So, although the design director's response may have been in good faith, the community latched onto the words "the right side of history" and the "because you're a girl" statements. To them, the trailer couldn't have been about the right side of history because it didn't even portray a historically accurate event or character, and neither did the Nordlys war story. They responded that it's absolutely fine to have women in video games, but pushing a fictional woman into the spotlight with no historical context just wasn't the right way to do it. And I don't even want to get into the British commando with the katana on his back within the trailer, but people had issues with that too. Others at EA, such as the executive producer Alexander Grundal, pushed back with "we will always put fun over authentic." And general manager Oscar Gabrielson explained, "the Battlefield sandbox has always been about playing the way you want, like attempting to fit 3 players on a galloping horse with flamethrowers. With Battlefield 5, you also get the chance to play as who you want." And this was more in line with how many in the Battlefield community felt about Battlefield games, knowing that Battlefield games had primarily always been about fun multiplayer experiences, not the historical accuracy of single-player campaigns or stories. Some even made fun of those, complaining about the historical accuracy by posting clips of those only in Battlefield moments, which added some levity to the situation. The ex-EA Chief Executive Officer Patrick Sutherland took things a step further, calling anyone upset about the portrayal of women in Battlefield 5 uneducated, telling them to accept it or don't buy it. Gamers listened to him, and pre-order numbers went down by 85%. which in large part helped result in the worst launch of a Battlefield game ever. Sales of Battlefield 5 were so much lower than expected that EA's stock fell over 13% in a single day, which was the worst decline EA had seen in the stock market in over a decade. From this, Battlefield should have learned not to market a game on historical accuracy if they're going to rewrite history in favor of fun over authentic. They failed in their communication with the Battlefield community with mixed messages of being politically correct versus playing how you want. And it sure didn't help when they insulted players by calling them uneducated. If only the Battlefield 5 official reveal trailer was more like the one that came with the War in the Pacific update, which captured the feeling of the game without anything distracting from it, things probably would have been a lot easier for Battlefield. So I wanted to mention something that's a little bit awkward for me to say here, honestly, but apparently only 3% of people that have been watching my videos lately are subscribed, and I don't really know if that's because my videos are crap or because people just forget about the subscribe button and keep watching the videos anyway. But I did want to mention it just because liking and subscribing not only helps me know what kind of stuff to make next, but it also tells YouTube if it should expand the reach of the video to more people or not. Regardless, thank you so much for watching the video until the very end. I hope to see you again in the next one.